Hi, this is I'll Explain. This is another I'll Explore where I will compare the difference between Zaku 2FC and a Zaku 2. Now I use this Robo Spirits because I don't have a Zaku 2 or Zaku 2F in 1:144 available. So I will use something close enough, and given the styling differences, we can also compare them for fun. Obviously, this Zaku 2FC comes from the HGUC line, which is not entirely anime accurate. They would have some liberty to make the mobile suit look more realistic in hand, so less anime looking. Although Okawa's design is actually very realistic, but what's actually realistic may not look realistic when you hold it in hand or not having the whole thing worked in front of you. So many artistic need for selling the product. So HGUC tried to balance anime accurate looks and realism to some degree. And to be honest, HGUC would be the evergreen design for most cases. Like even the newer MGs with their more anime-esque design would still have a lot of resemblance to HGUC because HGUC was balancing realism with anime accuracy to begin with. Anyways, we had looked at this Type B head in. We did look at this Type B head in the explain video. The paint does not turn out to reflect as well as I hope it would, but this gives you an idea of what a non-Xeon Zaku, visor type Zaku would look like. The other part that we don't get to talk about in the explain video is this open palm, which would look very good holding the front of the 90mm machine gun. But I didn't put it on because I don't know if I want to demonstrate F2 holding the hit hawk. I didn't end up doing that, but here it is. It can hold the hit hawk. I did not paint it because I think it would be in storage for both of the video, and that's how I would usually run it. I'm not sure if I want to put the grabbing hand back on, but oh well. It is a bit hard to see, but I also painted the optics, so it's more obvious when I talk about it in the video. Curiously, the 90mm machine gun have a front pulse but no rear sight. It also have a very Uzi looking stock, at least when folded, but from what I can tell, this thing does not extend and is almost at the end. And when Zaku 2FC hold it all the way up, it's braced against its arms anyway, so I guess it's just somewhat Uzi looking. Obviously, the name of the weapon is actually MMP, so it gives you an idea that this weapon is very World War II German inspired. It is by most of it is actually very Cold War era looking. The shield is on one multi-joint, so it can spin around and have some gifts in or out. So even for more dramatic pose, well, not really, because the elbow only go up to 90 degrees as older HGUC goes, because this kit is from 2008, but I got a reprint. So either way, it was designed and released back then, so not great. Well, I wouldn't say not great. It's pretty good articulation, but not as good as you would expect these days. But, you know, this is canonically correct. Zaku 2 is not supposed to be super flexible like later mobile suits. So this is correct enough that I wouldn't have a beef. Probably easier to see on this side. If you focus, this kit also have a articulation point inside of, actually, yeah, there's a joint in the torso, or more like shoulder blades, before the shoulder, so you get a bit more out of your movement, but not so much as we have seen with G-frames or the newer HGs. Oh, and the shoulder armor can flip quite far, so if we play around with it, you can bring the arm not 90 degrees, but somewhat natural places. Head is have back and forth on a ball joint, but not too different on a super flat head on the Zaku 2FZ. The front skirts have a double ball in the middle, so if you don't cut it, they will be linked like the 105 dagger we had looked at before, but I have cut it, so we got individual articulations. Now I'm not sure if it is early HG or just not canonically independent. This side panel move along with the main panel, so, and you can see the side skirts is not attached to the front at all, but it does have articulation. Oh, while we're at it, since this kit is old, the thigh is still a ball joint, so it can't do a split, but it can do a 90 degree. Now, main feature of this kit, can't really see on the camera. Here's the stand peg, or stand hole for the peg on the stand. Main feature of this kit is actually extra thigh articulation. As you can see, this was the position it was in, and it can move forward. So the FZ can actually sit at a relatively natural position without the skirt interfering. This would also translate to a good kneeling pose, I presume. Haven't really tried it. Yeah, it's got a very good kneeling pose, and as you can see, double joints on the knee, somewhat limited by the transmission conduits. That's why it can't kick its own ass, but it is moving very far back, and it closes up very nicely with no gaps. So yeah, this is what we are dealing with for HGUC in the pre 2010s or late 2000s. So yeah, when people say HGUCs are good, yeah, they are pretty good in general. Oh yeah, the feet, as you can see, is have an ankle or toe movement. So an ankle joint and then toe joint. So a lot of movement there. And the thrusters on the legs is actually coming from a central frame down to a ball joint on the foot. So yeah, this thing have some serious engineering behind it, and that's not a big surprise because this Zaku 2FC is closest as you can get from a protagonist Zaku as you do. So yeah, backpack, it's boring, no movement on the nozzles at all. Back of the skirts, don't move. This is just the thigh movement. Yeah, so boy in all, decade and a half old kid, but still trucking. Oh, and the joints. The joints are soft plastic with or rubber or vinyl, whatever you want to call them, covered with hard plastic shells. So if you do paint it, it would be very nice. Those vinyls do not agree with paints, and that's kind of the reason why Bandai is phasing them out, besides cost. Anyways, real reason we are doing this video is the comparisons. Now, this Robo Spirit is clearly having a lot of extra decals to make it look more realistic, but the Zaku 2FZ, without too much flair, still managed to look close. And as I have mentioned, the Zaku 2FZ's head is a lot flatter than the Zaku 2's. Now, you would go on to say, but this Zaku 2 snout looks much longer. Yes, it's longer on the back end, but on the front end, the FZ is longer. So that's what I meant in the explain video. And obviously, no supporting beam on the side of the mono eye track. For the chest, as we have talked about, you still got the free section, left, right, and middle, but the middle is a uniform-ish piece, while Zaku 2 is this complex multi-door fair that Xeon used throughout most of the 1 year war. The torso transmission cable locations are practically the same, but it is attached to the waist on the FZ and to the abdomen for the old Zaku 2. The skirts on the Zaku 2 is a lot more curvy, while FZ is a lot more straight. This is another contribution, or it's a design choice really, from the creators to make Zaku 2FZ looks like it is on a converging path with Federation mobile suits. There are multiple reasons for this. My explanation videos goes for a more form follow function sort of tech, but in reality it was designed this way so if there are any changes in the story, this Zaku 2F could have been a Federation mobile suit being modified as one. The leg armor, as you can see, the thigh FZ is thicker here, that I try to allude to when I talk about the G-frame F2, but G-frame doesn't really have these features, like the extra thick armor near the knee, and obviously old Zaku 2 does not have them. Knee armor is, the armor on the knee itself is similar in size, but clearly the original design, the older designs, does not have as much reinforcements. On the side you can see much bigger apogee motors. This is a peg for the missile launchers, while FZ have no such concerns. And the feet, FZ even have an extra toe cap, while for Zaku it is a recess for better, more surface area in your link posts. The F-type here have 2 thrusters, while the FC have 1 big one and a lot of small apogee motors. Yeah, and this thruster in middle of axle design would be carried into GB01. The back, again, attachment points for other Zaku types, while FC just have a big, well, big-ish or standard size thruster. And again, small thruster on the F or early Zaku 2 and bigger circular apogee motors on the FC. Bigger back skirts in comparison. And the backpack. And the backpack, you can see FC still have the 2 cell looking thing on top, but it is just square compared to the elongated on the F. Now I think the Robo Spirits have the backpack extended for basically commonality between the F-type, J-type, JC and other Zaku variants. So this one on for the Robo Spirit is actually longer than you will see in Okawa's illustration or most other Zaku 2s. But FC just have a stocky backpack. Maybe larger in size, like in ratio to the chest, but it's always this big square backpack that people find to be Federation-like, again, to the idea that the FC was a hybrid mobile suit in conception. But as the story turns out and how the logos, Zeon doesn't really have access to Federation parts, and Federation is starting to adopt Zeon parts, so yeah. The shield on the Robo Spirits is made to be thinner for the looks, pretty much. Generally you will find them to be wider, but FC have a wider shield regardless. But yeah, it have this 45-degree slope instead of a harsh 90 degrees. Now the Robo Spirits have this attachment arm to flip the shield forwards for some of the odd things happening in the anime, because after all, this is a very anime. Otherwise, you will find most Zaku 2F attached much like this Zaku 2FC. Which one is canon? Hard to say. I would say maybe both types exist, and since this one on the right is just called Zaku 2, I would say it's probably a type C, the early ones that used to have anti-nuclear linings, lead linings in them. Possibly. We don't know. But yeah, oh, we should talk about the chest more. Yeah, clearly Zaku 2FC have a much bigger chest compared to the Zaku 2, and is a lot more angular, and it have vents in the front and none on the Zaku 2. So here you have it. A comparison of Zaku 2 and Zaku 2 FC. I hope you have been enjoying it. I certainly do. I'm still thinking about what to do. I think this Zaku 2 deserves a video on its own. I'm still thinking what should I do with it. Maybe for the new series, but we will see. Yeah, otherwise, thanks for watching. See you next time.